I looked at 250 freelance web developers and found that 99% of them were making some massive mistakes that would stop them from ever making $1 million a year. And the first mistake was that they thought that earning that amount was a scam, that it wouldn't be possible. But I'm currently working with 3 people right now who are all making at least $1.5 million a year, some even hitting $3 million a year, like Damiano here.
Right now, we're at $230,000 a month.
Of course, it's not easy and they needed new skills, but you can do this too. If someone else has been able to do it, chances are so can you. The second mistake may shock you because, well, it's working as a developer in a job or as a freelancer. Sure, you can make $150,000 a year like that, but business owners, guys like this,
172K, that's the revenue that we did last month,
don't sell their time for money at all. They sell a whole team's time. Here's the math. You getting a job or freelancing works like this. You sit there, code, and get a paycheck end of the month or the end of the week. The limit is the amount of time you work multiplied by the rate. Of course, that's going to be limited. Whereas a business owner who sells development services can have 10, 20, 30, 40 people sitting there like Stan, and they can be making a salary in their jobs and they're happy. Most developers are looking for this, a steady job and a paycheck. So every one of those developers, even the 40 developers in a single company, gets paid a certain amount of dollars per hour. If you run a whole team, instead of getting a project for you, you get a project for them and charge the client the amount of dollars that every developer makes multiplied by the amount of team members on the project. So let's say there's 10 developers and the profit on that is massively higher than any one of those developers could make individually, obviously. Why would you ever sell your own time again if you know that and if you can get your own developers and if you can get your own clients and you don't need to sell your time? Why would you ever sell your own time again? The third mistake is developers learn skills that are in demand but that are common. For example, they sell WordPress websites. Imagine being in a crowd of people and everyone does the same thing. Clients drive by in their pickup trucks and ask for one of you to get in every time they need a project done. It barely even matters who gets in because they can always just come back and pick up someone new if the previous batch of developers failed. Do you want to be treated like that? The way to avoid this is to sell a service that's less crowded and has high demand at the same time. For example, you can keep up with the latest data on up-and-coming programming languages instead of just the biggest ones. Right now, anything related to crypto and NFT, it's not a huge industry, but anything related to crypto and NFT is a huge and a rare skill. Even though it's not a huge industry, there's a huge amount of demand. You may want to look into that. Always join the smaller crowd of people offering what's more rare as a skill, but still with enough demand. Clients wouldn't be surprised at all when you're quoting them between $10,000 and $50,000 for a project in crypto and NFT. It may be shocking to you hearing those numbers, but how do you think people get to $1 million a year? That's $20,000, $50,000 projects a year. Not a crazy amount for a team of 10 developers working for you. If you had to do it for $5,000 projects, that would be 200 projects. Big difference. Funny thing is, the $50,000 project isn't always more work than the $5,000 project. It's all about supply and demand. Now, I know what you might be thinking now. How does this incredibly smart, popular YouTube guy expect me to charge $50,000 for a project? And how do you get these projects anyway? You need to get leads and learn sales, of course. So what is the sales stuff anyway? Can't you just do some interviews like for a job and then get some projects? Not if you want to charge serious money for a project. If you want to get to $1 million a year and you want to do it with 50 projects, that's one sale every 7.3 days. To do that, you need to speak to 4 qualified leads on a weekly basis and have a close rate of 25%. Instead of selling the technical skills you have, you sell the solution, the end outcome you produce for your client, or rather that your team produces. Developers making just $50,000 a year instead of $83,000 a month sell their own skills. Developers making $83,000 a month or $1 million a year sell their team's solution that get their clients the result that they want. The fourth mistake is the obsession with 3 things which makes project delivery impossible. Let me explain. You can focus on 3 things as a developer: speed, cost, and quality. If you focus on all 3 at the same time, you will achieve none. If you focus on 2, you may partially achieve 2, but if you focus on 1, you can become a world-class expert at speed, cost, or quality. It makes sense if you think about it. If your number 1 priority is to deliver the best code possible at all times, no matter what, it's highly unlikely you'll do it quickly and cheaply. Whereas if everything is made based on a few templates that you keep reusing, things will go quickly, but you won't be able to do 100% of what the client wants at any given moment, it won't be 100% customizable, basically. A good developer looks at the business as a whole and understands what will produce the best bottom line in the end. Most clients simply don't need a highly customized, super intricate solution that is super scalable. They just don't need it. Sometimes they just need something very simple. This is also why the whole no-code scene is growing. Some projects don't even have to be coded from scratch at all anymore. Buyers mostly care about solving their business problems, not how custom it looks under the hood. The fifth mistake is an irrational obsession with technology and complexity. Developers who obsess about specific technology being used and forget to look at the business problems that are being solved. They tend to do well, but not too well. They won't make $1 million a year because buyers and users care about solving their problem, not about technology. Developers who obsess about technology are often good at their job, but that's exactly the problem. They are so detailed focused, they can't see the big picture. And if you've ever had a job as a developer, this is also exactly the #1 cause of conflict between employer and developer. The developer wants to create a perfect work of art, whereas the employer wants to solve the problem in the most efficient way possible. If you ever plan on leading a team and building a company, you have to understand both perspectives, not just obsess over technology. How do you use all this to get real clients and build a business as a developer to make $1 million a year? Let's go deep into that. I have a video ready for you in the description on how to implement this. Go click it right now and let's talk about how to get your first, second, and 10th client.